Good morning, family and friends. 23rd of December today. 2 more days to Christmas. Now, that might be interesting for some people, it might not be so interesting for others. I'm actually looking forward to Christmas Day, and that's because I'm hoping to have some exercise done on Christmas Day. Nothing else, just that. In the past, in the UK, normally there would be a few things that I would want to do on Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, I'm the sort of person who likes Christmas traditions. If, um, if, if like I have children growing up, and I do things like stockings and stuff like that, because even though I didn't grow up in that tradition, I still didn't want my son to be to feel left out. So I did all the necessary things, put a stocking at the end of his bed, Christmas tree, decorations, for as long as I could. One of the other things that I used to do when he was little was like go to a soup, they call them a soup kitchen on Christmas Day. And it was a place where you could participate in helping feed the homeless or people who didn't have a sort of normal traditional setting. Of course, we didn't have a normal traditional setting in that sense, but it just meant that you could be with other people and you could serve other people. And I quite like the idea of doing that on Christmas Day, instead of being boxed up in your own home. With a few plastic toys. And we've had Christmases where we've spent with like well-meaning people. I didn't enjoy those at all because it meant you had to fit in with them, and once you'd had something to eat, you couldn't go plonk yourself down somewhere and just kind of vegetate and sleep how you wanted or have a nap or whatever it is. You had to sit up straight and sort of follow their rules, if you like. I don't eat Christmas pudding in a British context. I don't actually eat Christmas pudding. I don't like the taste of it. I don't like cream. I don't like anything heavy, milky, or creamy. I just don't like these things, and that's what a lot of Western cuisine is based on: milk and cream. So I'd rather eat my traditional African food, that sort of thing, and so on. I don't like mince pies either. It's not for me. But I used to have all of those things, obviously, because if you're in a country, you've got to at least keep to some of the traditions there. So that's what that is. But this year, and since I left school, I've spent nearly all my Christmases in the UK, except for the Ebola years when I spent one Christmas at the Ebola treatment center. But it was at the time that Ebola was really raging, and it was necessary to be there. Apart from the fact that I was working, of course, and leading the centre. But that's a story for another time. So for this year, I'm looking forward to doing a little bit of exercise and just sort of doing a long walk on Christmas Day. I'm not going anywhere, and that's fine. It's great to just kind of like unwind and do what you want and vegetate, do your own thing. On Boxing Day, I may be joining some friends and so on. So there we are. So that's just basically what it is. I should miss my son. I should miss doing a few things that I would normally do over Christmas, but that's the way that life goes. Anyway, so today what I was thinking about was what is it about your culture or community or where you live that you don't take seriously? I mean, not you as an individual, but society at large. And I find sometimes here in Sierra Leone we don't take like the death of children or harmful things that happen to children, or pain or death or that. It's serious, but because it happens so often, sometimes there are no repercussions. I'm just thinking yesterday, A little child that I saw who was the child had obviously been mistreated by whoever was looking after it, because it was really a sorry state of a child. It was like a bag of bones, really. It's like the child was like this. It's like I've got two packets of porridge in here. The child was literally like this. Had a horrible skin condition all over itself, which obviously was lack of care, attention, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, people looking after the child were just lying through their teeth and saying things that, like, oh, we were looking after the child, but this and that, and it was just sick. And it made me think about Boris Johnson in the UK when not Ebola, beg your pardon, when COVID was raging last year, or was it this year? I can't remember. Anyway, COVID was raging in the UK, and Boris Johnson said, "Pile the bodies high." Obviously referring to, because COVID was more or less affecting elderly people or those with long-term conditions, but certainly it was beset in the elderly. And Boris Johnson, as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, said, pile bodies high, pile them high, referring to, as deaths were occurring from COVID, that these bodies will be piled high and buried. And I thought that's a typical example of a group of people that can easily be done away with in society. Do you know what I mean? So for the United Kingdom, in that one sentence, it was the elderly people. And here in Sierra Leone, children, women, can easily be done away with, and nobody would be worried about them. Do you know what I mean? So what is it about your community, where you are, where you're living? Who is dispensable? Who can society easily get rid of and not worry about the consequences, or not be held responsible, or not face the law? I know that COVID is a pandemic situation, but I guess poverty is also a epidemic type situation, because it affects so many people. And the way sometimes that people behave is a direct consequence of the way that poverty eats into their sense of self, of right thinking abilities, if you like, and being able to see that there are some things that are just morally wrong. You cannot do them, because the world and the universe tells us, even if the law doesn't tell us, but the world and the universe tells us that it is wrong to say older people are easily dispensable, or that women and children are easily got rid of, and it doesn't matter what you do to certain groups of people, there are no consequences. Of course it's wrong. And these things were just playing on my mind this morning, and as I was walking through, I popped in there. I'm at the hospital now. I popped in there just find out how the child went on yesterday afternoon, and the child had died. And I just thought, well, it's not just here, even though we obviously are beset by all sorts of problems here. It's not just here. In the UK also, the Prime Minister said, pile the bodies high, and he didn't care, or presumably he didn't care about the fact that so many elderly people would be dying from COVID. And we put other things in front of these people, these groups of people that are vulnerable in society, whether it's our own well-being, or the ability for us to sort of get ahead, or so that we present a sanitized version of what life should be like, or how life is. In fact, that version that we present is not true. It's not true because we spend so much time making sure that these problems are hidden. They're somewhere in the back and they're buried under something, and nobody can bring them forward, nobody can talk about them, because we don't want these images or whatever it is that we're trying to hide to spoil the status quo. We just don't want people to see the not so perfect underneath. That really is what the truth is. If you see what I mean. I'm muddling my words because for me it's quite an emotive topic, and it's in my brain. It's just sort of going through my brain at the moment. And even though as an individual there's not a lot I can do just by myself, I think that if I am able to talk about it, if I'm able to share my ideas, if I'm able to dialogue with one or two or more right thinking people and people who are on board the sort of thinking I'm thinking about, then that helps, and perhaps it moves society slightly forward. I don't know, but yeah, that's just what I'm thinking. Now, I don't want to be gloomy on the day before Christmas Eve sort of thing, but Christmas Day is just one day. Nothing changes, nothing actually changes on Christmas Day, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves and other people if we just harp on about one day that's not going to make an awful lot of difference to anybody's life, you know. So that's where I'm at with it. But that said, I do wish you a very Merry Christmas. I hope that you have fun doing the things that you want to do. I hope that your families can be safe and well. I hope that the communities that you live in can be uplifted and be removed from this whole entanglement, as I see it, with poverty, with sadness, with all sorts of horrible things that happens to humans across our world. I hope that we can take every member of our community to be an important person, to be worthy of life and worthy of happiness and worthy of a chance to make something of their lives. I hope so. I hope I'm not just saying words, that in time some of this will become meaningful. It's certainly important to me, and I would say it's probably been important to me all my life. So yeah, so a very Merry Christmas 2021, and hopefully a bright and prosperous 2022 with lots more good cheer and happiness ahead. I hope so, anyway. Have a great day. As I've said in other videos, I'm Nyama Kurasila. It's great to have you on board. Welcome to my channel. It's a bit of a mixed bag. Comment, please comment on this video and other videos, and share something of yourself. What are you doing for Christmas, and what are your thoughts and views on what I've just said? Who are the groups of people in your communities that are put to one side, not regarded as much? Let us know. All the best. And what are you doing about it? What are you doing to make a difference? Okay, well, cheers, and have a good one.